It's the Great Canadian Podcast with Dave and Charlotte.
It's a podcast.
Ooh, podcast.
I forgot to mute my laptop and it echoed back at me. So I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that, but
Continuing the
podcast.
tradition of every Great Canadian Podcast beginning with technical difficulties.
Starting terribly. Yeah.
Not
we
even
are not
difficulties.
professionals.
Just like technical oversights by the hosts.
And you know what? That's how you know that we're honest broadcasters, because we could edit that out and we leave it in
That's right.
because we care.
There were actually like 10 starts before that where it was like, oh man, my mic's not on. There weren't. I'm just kidding. That was our first start, everybody. And we're honest with you.
We're honest people.
Happy Wednesday. No, not. It's not Wednesday. This is going to air on a different day. Oh my God.
Yeah, but we can tell them we just said we're honest people.
Yeah.
It's close to Wednesday.
So we're recording this on Wednesday and it'll probably come out on Monday.
You know what? Let's say it's going to come out on Monday. Hey, everybody. Sorry the podcast came out on Tuesday this week. Yesterday.
It's Charlotte and I being busy people in the fields of science and music.
Yeah.
Just had stuff to do.
Yeah, we're really sorry.
Charlotte goes to the
won't
hospital.
happen again.
Charlotte goes to the hospital when she's not even sick. Tell them, Charlotte.
Yeah, that's true. Well, today, actually, can I tell you the tale of my day?
Please.
So, yesterday I had a bad day. It was a bad day. It was a dark day. And then I went to bed, I laid down in bed at 8. And honestly, at 6:30, I'm like, I can't go to bed yet. It's too early. And at 7, I'm like, I can't. So finally at 8, I'm like, I can at least go into the bedroom. And I think I probably made it to 8:45 before I fell asleep. So I went to sleep pretty early. And then I set my alarm.
Is that really early for you, Charlotte?
Yeah, that's true. It's honestly getting so much earlier, the times that I tell myself it's too early.
Yeah.
You cannot tell any. It used to be 9:30 and then it turned into 9. And now it was honestly 6:30. I'm like, I can't. This is embarrassing. Even I think this is embarrassing. So,
Good stuff.
Anyway, so I set my alarm for 5:30. That's how I justified it. Said you know what? You can get up and be super productive tomorrow.
Yeah, justified.
So,
yeah.
Alarm goes off at 5:30 and I snooze because I'm a huge snoozer. I love alarm clock snoozing.
Yeah.
And
As do I.
then I go back to sleep, and then a little part of my brain after a certain amount of time goes, hey, I don't think it's been 10 minutes. I feel like that's been a little bit longer than 10 minutes. And I open my eyes and it's 7 a.m.
Oh,
And
Charlotte.
Most of the time we have tests at 8 o'clock and I'm supposed to be there at 7 / between 7 and 7:30. 7:30 at the absolute latest. And if it's 7:30, I'm rushing in and hoping no one else is there so that they don't see how late I rushed in.
Yeah.
So, but yet today,
Because as we've already established, people from Edmonton are...
No, my lab members are all very nice, but still, there's certain equipment that has to get turned on half an hour before the tests begin.
Right.
And I gotta be there. So, anyway, today our test did not start at 8, it started at 10, which never happens, only today. So, thank God. So anyway, so I'm lying in bed, I'm like, oh, well, whatever. I got a solid, 11 hours of sleep.
Right.
I guess maybe 10. Anyway. I got a really, really, really nice email, and oh my God, so I had written a reference letter for someone and I sent it to them, and they sent me back a very, very nice response and said that they had cried, and oh God. You know what? I just think that you can never be too nice. That's the moral of the story, they didn't have to email me back because I was trying to be nice to them, and they just made so I was in a fantastic mood, had some great ideas for the podcast in the shower, that sort of thing. Go in, tested, blah, blah, blah. Then get word right before lunchtime that we might be going to the hospital.
Oh.
And in a nutshell, we test a population that we can only test in the hospital. Most people come into the lab to be tested, but certain people, we have to go to them, and it involves packing up our entire lab, putting it all into cars, driving to the hospital, setting up our whole lab at the hospital, testing these people there. They're long, long days, and we never have any advance notice.
Okay.
So
that's brutal.
I usually get, there's people in my lab that get really excited, and I just get so pissed.
Yeah.
The one time we found out, and I was in the middle of a test of just like another person, and the person who was being tested looked at me and he goes, "You look like you're about to cry." Like I feel like I'm about to cry.
Oh my God.
So
what an observation too. Like, I mean, if I looked at someone and they looked upset, that would not be my first comment. You look like you're about to cry.
Yeah. He was like, "I don't understand why this is that bad, but you do look like you're about to burst into tears." And I said, "I am." It's a very good observation.
Poor Charlotte.
So anyway,
a lot of crying in
but
this,
we went to the hospital.
day.
It wasn't that bad, but we started packing up and prepping at like 11:30, and I got home at 6:30. However, as I was walking home today, I was in a pretty good mood again. I don't know, it was a decent day, and the test went well, and the people that we tested were super nice.
Rocking some TOP songs.
Yeah, well, yeah, except there was black ice on the sidewalk. I wanted to bring that up as a rant. When you're trying to strut your way home to get your mojo back, which I was, and all of a sudden you slip, that really kiboshes your mojo. But as I was walking home and finally got to a dry patch again, so I was able to continue a strut for about, 100 meters or so.
I'm really happy to hear that,
I started thinking, man, imagine if I actually would have gotten up at 5:30 today, how long this day would have been. But I feel like the gods of the day were on my side, and someone just came in and turned my alarm off so that I wouldn't snooze, so that I would be able to get an extra hour and a half of sleep in and survive this long day at the hospital today.
Not just a positive outlook, Charlotte, but objectively, like a legitimate observation. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just like me controlling the weather. This is objective.
Well, I wouldn't say it's the same as you claiming. Let's check our wording on that to control the weather.
Can we tell people what we're watching today?
We are watching, at Charlotte's suggestion, which was in turn a suggestion.
No, not at my suggestion. At Jacqueline's suggestion. Jacqueline from Exeter, Ontario, a fan of the podcast, and who mocked us a little bit for watching videos while we do a podcast.
Well, we're not that interesting. We got to do something.
And here's my response. Some podcasts have video components, and this is just our way of doing a video without doing a video.
Did you catch that? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, she said,
if you're
looking for cool videos, there was this, I forget the way she phrased it. She said, back in high school, it was really popular. There was this camera feed from Africa. Let me see what her wording was exactly. Oh, damn it. Now I can't find it. Terrible podcasting. Anyway, and she said you should find it. So I searched it, and I don't know if this is what everybody was talking about back in the day. But let's see. Oh, when I was in university, I remember a live feed of lions on the savannah, 2000 or 2001-ish. Any memory of this, it was kind of a big deal at the time, she says. So I don't know if we found the right thing, but we're on Africam.
Africam. Like Africa,
so spell Africa
with an M.
With an M on the end. Although, Dave, has one of your... so there's three. There's 3 that are offline right now and 3 that are online.
Yeah.
Dave, is one of your cameras black right now?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
My Tembe.
The other one appears to be observing some sort of settlement, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, there's like
lights and stuff, yeah.
And the cameras move around. I want to say there's a bird in that pond. Do you see it, David?
Yeah. Something looks like a stork or something.
I think that's the only wildlife we've actually seen.
I think there's a couple of birds. Aren't there some down by the bottom left of the pond there, too?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And then we're watching a river, the Olifant River, if that's how you pronounce that.
That's how Samwise Gamgee says elephant. Or that's what they call elephants in the Lord of the Rings world.
Yeah, that is what they call them, yeah.
Olifants,
yeah.
Haven't
you read the books, David?
No, I can never get through them. I read
David.
I read The Hobbit. There's too much. There's too much that does not matter. I've tried. I'm not saying I'm too good for them. I'll try again in a couple years and maybe I'll get through them.
They're so good. Obviously, there are a couple parts you have to struggle through, but...
Yeah. Even we've discussed the Robert Jordan books before. Like, even in these books, the dream sequences and stuff like that, I'll still skip because I just can't do it.
Don't skip, David. The dreams become very important.
I
They're
don't know.
very
There's a bunch of
important.
new characters. I don't know who they are. I want to hear about Matt swindling people out of their money and then hitting them with a quarterstaff. That is what I want to read.
David, I don't want to spoil anything, but you need to read the dream sequences.
I'll catch up. I'm. You know what, Charlotte? If I'd read them, I would be a lot further in the back in the book than I am now.
And what book are you? Okay, everyone, we're talking about the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. My friend Tori got me onto them, and I think a high school English teacher, she said, we're going to have Tori on the podcast as soon as we figure out how to get people to call in. But we'll get her to tell us that story. But
yeah,
they're unbelievable.
They're great.
They're like, and there's like 12 of them, 14 of them.
14, yeah. Although, how would I know? Because I haven't read all the books. So.
Yeah. Well,
skipping.
You actually have all
and
my
stuff.
books. Well, you have the first half of the set.
Yeah.
From Dave's
Don't worry. I'm skimming. I'm getting the cliff notes.
Oh my God, you're driving me nuts that you're skipping. Oh my. Anyway, they're unbelievable. And I just, you know what? If you're looking for a book series to read, dear listeners, get the Wheel of Time series and you will not be disappointed. And yes, there are some books in the middle that are a little bit slower and you kind of have to, like, there's certain parts that you're getting through. But books 12, 13, 14, like, I basically had no social life for those 3 books and read them all in about, like, I don't know, a week and a half because they're that good.
Oh my God, Charlotte.
I've cried in those books as I've read them. Like, oh my God. So good.
I think I've ceased to be surprised when you cry, Charlotte. It's just...
Yeah, I'm a bit of a waterworks.
And hey, speaking of waterworks, how good do we sound this week? Do we sound healthy?
Whoa,
speaking of
do
water,
we sound healthy?
Charlotte, I am 2 for 2. I am 2 for 2 in colds, drinking all the water I can get in me, and just going to the bathroom, number 1, as often as possible. My cold went away. It was done. 3 days. I had gigs. I was up until like 4 a.m. I wasn't getting maybe as much sleep as I should have been. Water will cure.
Okay, here's what you need to do on your next cold, though. Your next 2 colds is not drink water. You need to go out of your way and not drink water and see if the reverse happens.
But that sounds so terrible. I have like past colds.
That's science, David. That's science. If you want to be scientific about this.
In the name of science.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah, but I got like a living. I got to, like, sing and stuff.
Yeah, but what if it does nothing? All right, listen to this. So we followed up, and I whenever we have, if there's ever something I need to look up, I think about who is a person that I think will be able to answer this. And there's a guy that I know who's very into, like, nutrition and that sort of thing. He just loves it, and this stuff sticks with him. There's been a few times we've been talking about nutrition stuff, and I'm like, man, you know a lot more than I do. Like, and I'm a few degrees up on him. So anyway, but this kid, like, he really, really loves his stuff, and he's pretty smart about it.
All right.
So Jeff, I asked Jeff, why should you drink fluids when you're sick? And without missing a beat, this is the answer that he gave me. Largely because you become dehydrated from the fluid that you lose from your nose, mouth, etc. It doesn't seem like you could possibly be losing that much, but you'd be surprised. And also with dehydration, not because of the losses, but simply because your immune system works better when you're perfectly hydrated. Become dehydrated and your body begins to suffer, your lips crack, you have less interstitial fluid to move toxins, antibodies, etc. And so the body basically needs the fluids to keep pushing out mucus and phlegm. Which I feel like is pretty much what we said, although he said a little bit more smarter.
More smarter. I don't think did we really touch... No, you did say that. You said it was because you lost a lot of fluid when you were, like, coughing, sneezing, and, mucusing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey,
body
Charlotte.
just needs water. Yeah.
Quick aside. ETC period. Pronounce that word.
Etc.?
Yeah, etc.
Yeah.
Not etc.
No.
Sorry.
Why did I say etc.?
Twice. You just... Yeah.
Does it bother you? Is that a pet peeve of yours?
No, I only bring it up because we were... I wouldn't call it a pet peeve. I'm just...
Is it like supposedly?
Yeah. Who says supposedly?
That's I'm on a friend's Netflix binge right now, and Joey says that because Chandler says something like, "Oh yeah, he breaks up with women for stupid reasons," and he says because she pronounces it supposedly, and then Joey's alone in the apartment. He goes supposedly, and then I forget what he says. He asks himself a question. He's like, "Did she go there?" Supposedly.
Which, of course, brings to mind Joey's immortal quote about moot point. and moo point.
Yeah. It's like a cow's opinion.
Which is amazing.
It's
I kind of want to just adopt that as like actual moot point, because apparently a moot point doesn't mean what a lot of people think it means. It doesn't mean a point that is essentially doesn't merit discussion. It is a point that in fact is being discussed or needs to be discussed. It's one of those.
I remember actually I looked that up recently. Yeah, and it's everyone uses it wrong.
It's like the word. It's like the word nonplussed. It sounds like nonplussed. You're like, well, you're cool, you're calm, you're not affected. But nonplussed means you're bothered. You're whatever, right?
You know what, Lo? There's I think a certain point with stuff like that, and for me, it's Neanderthal, which is supposed to be Neanderthal.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny because I was listening. I just told you this earlier to Neil deGrasse Tyson's podcast on the way in, and he was talking to a guy about primate evolution. And the science guy, the main guy, pronounced it Neanderthal. And I feel like that's a detail that wouldn't have escaped Neil's notice. And he persisted in pronouncing it Neanderthal, which I kind of respected.
I think that's because Neil realizes that there comes a certain point where you can correct people. You can be like, it's et cetera, not et cetera.
Yeah.
But you're going to sound like a bit of a raw Skeller. If you don't watch Friends, you're not going to understand any of our references this podcast.
Yeah.
But you're going to sound like a bit of a weenie is what you're going to sound like. And, no one wants to hear and even if you said Neanderthal, everyone's going to look at you like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like you'd be pointing it out just to prove how smart you are.
And is it really worth it?
Is it really worth it? Although I stand by my correction of etc. because I feel like that's that's like if you'd said espresso. I had an espresso this morning for breakfast. I would probably say, Oh, and I have another one. I listened to a podcast that was called Wrath of the Khans recently, and right out of the gate, he's pronouncing it Genghis Khan, which is I suppose how you pronounce it. But even though I know that, and with most people that I talk to, I would probably still say Genghis Khan because, it's just another one of those things. It's like Neanderthal,
Wait, is it supposed to be Genghis?
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows? Because we're not Mongolians from, the 1200s. But, yeah, I believe it's supposed to be Genghis. You'd think he'd know since he did a podcast on it. Yeah.
Huh.
But that's a good comparison, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great comparison. I always thought it was Genghis.
Yeah, me too. Maybe it's Genghis.
I think we all just have our things. And for me, I think I really, really, this is not the same as saying things out loud, obviously, but I hate, and I'm sure I'm not alone on this, when people interchange why are you apostrophe RE and why are you R. I just can't, and there and there and there.
Oh, right.
When they're writing, I just honestly just want to dunk them on the forehead, what are you thinking? Where is you? And that's how I feel about. So I think your etc. is the same as me with someone with your
sure.
and your get it together. Get it together. How do you not? I mean, anyway. So that's the thing. I'm judgy about it, but I'm sure lots of people would be judgy to me about my etc. My little brother.
I'm not judgy. I was just saying it because I love you, Charlotte. I have one more.
We all heard it, David. This has all happened on the podcast. Everybody heard you be judgy to me.
Okay. I have one more.
Everyone feels sorry for me right now. Yeah.
I have one more. I feel like you're really demonizing just an honest point that I pointed. Anyways, I have one more that I notice that bothers me that I don't correct people on because I don't want to be like a pedant. That's a good word. Pedant. All right. Even though I am kind of, is wary and weary.
Uh-huh.
When someone says, this guy came in the room and he looked like kind of a, like a smooth talker, so I was kind of weary around him.
Yeah, do people do that? Do people say that?
Oh, yes. Yeah. And I feel like it's one of those ones, too, where, you can kind of make contact with them as they say it, and they go, so I was kind of weary around him. And you get the sense that they're just kind of taking a swing and hope that they use the right one. It's just one of those
and
words.
hope that you didn't know the difference. Yeah.
I do that all the time. I used the word prescient a while ago, and I used it completely wrong. And I used it around really smart people, and they were just like, I don't think that works. And I was like, well, I went for it. Sometimes I do that.
Don't you just kind of want to be like, you know what? Why don't you just let me live my life if I want to use the word this way?
No, not at all, Charlotte. No,
that's how language evolves, David. We all just start using words that are like, Mom hates it when people say funner. You know what, Mom? That was funner than this other thing. So why don't you just deal with it? And she hates it.
Okay, we're gonna
More fun, Charlotte. More fun.
we're gonna have to come back to this on a different podcast because no, I completely disagree. You should know. You should be curious about the words that you use and what they mean, so that in the future you can use them correctly. I mean, not everyone's curious about it. Like I am. That's just whatever. I'm not saying this like, oh, I'm curious. You might not be, but I am. But like, I think that's the attitude one should take towards language, is you should want to use it correctly.
If you care about that sort of thing.
Well, exactly. All right. So I get that people don't care. So whatever. So I'll just continue being a pedant in my head.
Yeah. Shallow and pedantic. So I think we should get back to the Africam because so it is now 8:04 in the Mountain Time Zone. And we started this podcast probably, I don't know, like 7:40. And we literally watched the sunrise in Africa. It was honestly really sweet. Like, the sun is legit up now. Like, it's the morning on 2 of these cams. And one obviously must be a lot more west than the other because the sun's just coming up on our 3rd camera right now. It's pretty cool.
It is cool. And these cameras are a lot higher quality than I thought at first.
Yeah. Now, other than this bird, we have yet to see any legit, like, we have not seen any lions or elephants.
No.
There's
But I mean, on the
sound.
one camera for sure, we're like right next to where people live. So there's that.
Yeah. There's also sound, which I've got my computer muted because otherwise I get feedback. Is that the right word, David? Feedback with my microphone?
That's the one. Yeah, nailed it. And if you
feedback?
were using feedback wrong, I would correct you so that you could call.
And I would roll my eyes on behalf of all of us.
Hey Charlotte, what's the super cool word I told you about? Like what you call your headphones?
Cans.
Right?
Which I think is also a word for bum.
Wait, what?
So that's the cool word.
Oh,
People
yeah.
call their cans your bum, your cans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your can? Yeah.
Yeah, can singular, and then can plural is obviously the word for another body part. 2 of them.
2 of them. I think that's as good a time as any to bring Our Lady out. What do you think, Davo?
Yeah, I like it. What do you got to say?
You're listening to Dave and Charlotte's Great Canadian Podcast.
I should clarify, when I said, what do you got to say, I meant our girl.
And because I'm a professional, I did not answer you.
That was good. Yeah.
Because I knew you meant the girl. We're so good. I mean, we're too good.
We're kind of nailing it here. So,
Can I say...
Sorry, go for it, Charlotte.
I was just going to say, speaking of us being good, we got some viewer mail. See, I assume you guys are watching just the pictures of us on these videos. Anyway, apparently you're not, but we don't care. We're going to keep on watching videos, and we're going to keep on putting pictures of ourselves up. So we got some listener mail.
At greatcanadianpod@gmail.com, in case you're wondering.
Write that down. Hey, Dad, go write that down. greatcanadianpod@gmail.
It's going to be in the info of our videos from now on. That's going to be something.
Yeah. So we have a nice message from Alain who says, Charlotte and Dave, really enjoying the pod so far. Happy that the cross-country separation isn't affecting the product. Seamless, says Alain. And Alain, I mean, honestly, I could kiss you. That's very nice to say
Very
that it's
nice.
seamless. Yeah. It's obviously not entirely accurate. And Alain followed up with some TOP mix suggestions.
I like this. Wait, Alain, I would assume that's a man, yes?
Yes, it is. He's married to a good friend of mine who's, I would say her nickname, but we're trying to keep last names out of this business. My good friend Lynn, who you might not know because I always call her by her last name.
No, I know who you mean.
Okay.
Good people.
Anyway, both honestly, like the best people. And they have, honestly, the cutest kid you've ever seen in your whole life.
I'm sure the
Good
kid's
God,
very
that's
cute.
an adorable child. So, Alain, and you know what? I think that this needs to be the TOP song of the day. And I hate to say this, but because I agree, this is an amazing song. And this is a TOP song for myself also.
I'm just interested which one you're going to pick because all 3 of these songs are great.
They're all great. I'm going to go with Florence and the Machine, Shake It Out.
Woo! Woo! That's the winner. That's the one I was gonna pick too. That's why I made
And
that
you know
sound.
that it also had to be the choice because Aaron was over one day and that song came on a playlist and we both paused and went, "Man, how good is this song?"
Great song.
It's a great song. And I mean, it's hard to dance with the devil on your back. So shake it off. I mean, come on. That's a great lyric.
Florence Welch doing good things with words.
Doing great things. So Alain, thank you. And you know what? We still need more. We got lots of weeks of TOP songs of the day. So we can get to yours. And if you, listener, have a TOP song of the day, a song that gets you up, keeps you up, or even makes you feel good when you're down, because sometimes when you're down, you don't need to get back up. I think that's a common misconception, whether you're sad or whether you're depressed or whatever it is, that you need to cheer up. I think that sometimes the answer is just to get some McDonald's, curl up and watch some Netflix and just let yourself veg for a little bit.
Just
and
deal.
there's songs that are good for that too.
Absolutely. That's what I was thinking, actually, because I was looking for TOP songs on my own, and it struck me that a lot of my TOP songs are songs that I listen to when I'm feeling a little like I just need to feel a little comforted, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And Florence, I mean, that's a great song, Shake It Out, but when you are sad, you probably don't want to listen to that. You know, you probably want something that's a little bit more your speed, and that's okay too.
And maybe. Or
So,
maybe you like
well-
Shake It Out when you're sad, and when you're happy, you like to listen to Drake or something.
Yeah, that's true.
You know. I only
That's
picked
your jam.
picked Drake because it seemed, you know, different in genre from Florence and the Machine.
Yeah, I don't picture Drake being all that peppy. His songs aren't usually peppy, I wouldn't say.
I really can't comment. I don't really listen to rap all that much. Which I'm open to, by the way. It's just whenever I listen to rap, I'm just like, yeah, I'd rather listen to something else. Should we mention Alain's other songs? Honorable mentions?
You know what? Yeah, let's, because they're honestly great songs too.
Yeah, I'd never heard I've Seen a Little by Alan Doyle. I didn't even recognize the name, but then when that George of the Jungle face came up on YouTube, I was like, oh, it's the guy from Great Big Sea, who I've always just, the first thing I think every time I see him is he looks like George of the Jungle.
Is that really what you think?
Every time.
Oh, poor guy.
And it's the real problem is that I'm familiar enough with the movie George of the Jungle to like make that connection. Where the
a great
devil is
movie.
my egg timer? I just miss
George of the Jungle.
strong as he can be.
Do, do, do.
Watch out for that tree.
Yeah, that's a great theme song. Movies don't have good enough theme songs these days, I think. That's
Yeah.
a hilarious and catchy theme song.
It is good. Some of Brendan Fraser's best work.
If not his best work. I think we can probably go out on a limb and say that's his best movie.
Yeah.
What else does Brendan Fraser do?
I like the Mummy movies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Sorry, Brendan. No, Hey, speaking of Brendan, is he not Canadian? I think he is.
I don't think so.
I'm going to look it up while you tell the people what Alain's number 3 song was, which I also love this song. God,
Okay.
Alain, we have the same taste in music, bud.
And I should clarify, when I said mommy movies, I of course was referring to the first two and not the Scorpion King featuring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because while Dwayne's got some acting chops, that movie is a stone cold piece of shit. Alain's third...
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Canadian. I don't know why I'm pointing this out. We only have Canadians, but
The
you
Rock
know,
is
I
Canadian?
feel like-
Get out of here.
Yeah, okay, I'm looking that up too. By the way, Brendan Fraser, he's American Canadian.
Oh, okay. And The Rock, no, he's not Canadian. There's no way.
Okay, that one I'm like, honestly, 95% sure.
Get out of here. The third song was by a Canadian, a verified Canadian.
Hey!
What I Wouldn't Do by Serena Ryder.
Which is an amazing song.
Good tune. If you guys haven't heard any of those, obviously go look them up because they're cool.
You know what? I always thought that song by Serena Ryder will be a song that I would consider as a walk down the aisle song one day when I got married.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's very pretty. And it's like upbeat too, and I like that.
Charlotte, you
So
want to
anyway,
hear? You want to hear
if
something
you're
really
getting
weird?
married and you're listening to the podcast, you can steal that. You don't just tell people it was mine. What, Dave?
I've got a little fantasy about your wedding, so this is weird already. You know the song "Father and Daughter" by Paul Simon?
Yeah.
I really
Great song.
I want you and Dad to have like when he like the dance with the dad or whatever. You know?
Yeah,
what I
the
mean?
first dance.
You gotta dance to that song. That I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna waterworks if that happens.
Here's the thing: is I have another song. I'm almost gonna have to have 2 first dances or something like that. So if you don't know, our family loves Paul Simon. And especially the Graceland album is top in our books.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's an amazing album. Probably one of the greatest albums of all time, I would say.
It's pretty awesome.
And Father and Daughter is a song, I think it's from the Wild Thornberry soundtrack, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So it's not like this Paul Simon, but it's still a beautiful song. And he actually, if you listen, David, did you know that that's Paul Simon's daughter singing backup in that song?
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Look at us knowing stuff about that song.
Yeah.
However, and I can't say it on the podcast because then Dad will listen to it and he'll know, but I have another song that would also be lovely.
It's not going to matter because you guys are dancing to Father and Daughter. By the way, so.
Okay, guys. Brennan James Fraser is an American-Canadian actor. It doesn't... he was born in Indianapolis. Wow, that was hard to say. And he was the son of Canadian parents.
Cool.
Yeah.
A lot like old Ryan Stiles there, I think.
Oh, was that the same?
I shouldn't have even brought that up. He's American Canadian. I think his parents are Canadian. He grew up in Seattle, something like that. Anyways, you were saying.
Dwayne Douglas Johnson, The Rock, is an American and Canadian actor.
Oh my God! Look at us.
Look at me. I mean, you doubted me on both counts.
No, well, rightly so. They're both American, Charlotte.
American/Canadian.
Well, then I fail to see how you're any more right than I am.
His father is of Black Nova Scotian origin. I don't know why it says Black Nova Scotian instead of just Nova. Anyway, whatever. And his mother is of Samoan heritage.
Oh, cool. We're equally right. Why are we not equally right? We are seeing some animals on the Africams right now, by the way.
Shut up. I'm
Yeah.
off of it. I was reading some interesting stuff. Oh my God, I see animals.
Yeah, we got
Oh
some baboon close-ups happening here.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something? Oh my God, there's animals and there look to be some sort of turkeys. Oh my God, that's scary. Oh my God, oh my God, I'm scared. Okay. This is a really embarrassing moment for me because I was actually about to say that I'm afraid of monkeys, but I'm also afraid of birds. So now it just makes me look like a fraidy cat.
You're afraid of monkeys? Get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of your fear of birds, but
it only developed over the last few years because they are vicious as hell.
yeah.
It all started when I watched this documentary and there were two warring, like, I don't know, tribes or whatever they are of baboons or like these monkey, I don't know what kind of like primates they were, but they were some kind of, and like they were warring over territory and one of the families like caught one of the monkeys from the other family and literally ripped him to shreds and spread his body out around the territory that was being contested so as to scare off the other family.
Yeah.
Tell me that is not the most f***ed up thing you've ever heard in your life.
That's brutal. But I mean, if you were a monkey, you'd probably do that because how else you can't like broadcast propaganda over your monkey internet.
Pee! You would pee. Like isn't that what like lions do? They pee or they fight. They don't rip each other to like alive. They ripped this monkey apart alive. I mean, he's obviously not alive once he's in pieces.
Maybe they didn't have to pee. They had to do something.
Good God, that scares the bejesus out of me.
Maybe they were drinking a lot of water and their pee wouldn't have been smelly.
Oh, boy. All right, well, the monkey's gone now. He's not on our screen anymore. The camera's trying to find him, I think. Like, do you think this is a person sitting in a room somewhere, just moving this camera around, trying to find this monkey?
Yeah, totally.
Whoa, there he's back. He's back. He's back.
There's definitely some human involvement going on here because it's like, zooming into the monkeys and following them around and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should take one last moment to hear from our girl. And
Get out.
And lean into the latter portion of the podcast here.
Yeah, let's do it.
You're listening to Dave and Charlotte's Great Canadian Podcast.
So the Great Canadian Pod, greatcanadianpod@gmail.com, is not on Twitter yet. But Charlotte brought a Twitter-related. She pointed out a Twitter account to me today that I followed as soon as I got about 5 tweets down.
Oh my God, you did? You started following it?
It's amazing.
So, oh my gosh, why can't I think? Anna Gasteyer retweeted. I follow her, and she retweeted this morning. And so I did the same thing. I started scroll. I was like, "What is this account?" I started and like honestly laughed at least half of the tweets that I read. They're hilarious. So it's Boring Tweeter, and it's at Boring Tweets, but the O in boring is a 0. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you got it.
So my favorites, the ones I retweeted today, I have 3 dramatic readings to do for you.
Okay.
From at Boring Tweets. Number 1, I'm gonna go back down to 3.5 on my toaster setting tomorrow. 4 just wasn't me. At least I can say I've tried it. That's amazing. That's amazing. I've got 99 problems, but I'm steadily working my way through them. I've only got 16 problems now. 83 fewer than originally stated.
You really went far down.
And I've just managed to start a new toilet roll, and toilet has an asterisk beside it, without the first few layers ripping in half. What a time to be alive. And then the asterisk says, pardon my French.
Well picked, Charlotte. Those are good. I haven't seen any of those. I'm kind of scrolling. I'm in like the first 30 or something like that. But they're.
Oh my gosh, so good. Boring Tweeter. Go for it. They're so hilarious.
Yeah. I liked Just Texted Steve. That was great.
Yeah. So dumb. So many just dumb things.
Hey, can I say?
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
I want to say something on the Boring Tweeter prediction. A Dave prediction here. I think this is someone from the UK because just of the way that they're kind of writing. I've just like, I've just said good morning. Is that all? Okay? Yeah, for sure.
I want to say they call it a bin instead of garbage and that kind of thing.
Right.
I just wanted to say we got some really nice fan mail from Jacqueline too, and we're gonna get to your TOP song of the week next week. We got to spread it out a little bit. You see what we're doing here.
We got so many fans that we don't have time to get to everybody every week. But Jacqueline, your time is coming.
Yeah, it's coming. So we've got Boring Tweeter. There's something else that I wanted to bring up as a follow-up from last week, and I don't even know if we have time to get into this. But this might be a good thing for our little snippet, our Great Canadian Piddle, if you will.
Okay.
Which you guys are going to see. We have a fun new segment coming up. We're just going to have these mini clips on YouTube and perhaps also SoundCloud. Just if you want a little 3 or 5 minute snippet to satisfy your Dave and Charlotte needs for the day.
Fun
you can
size.
Go on and listen to one of these.
Bite size. Something you can take home to the kids.
Fun. So how about let's just, because this will stop us. We'll have to do it in 3 minutes. We're going to argue about the merits of breakfast because I think it's the suckiest meal of any day.
Okay.
And thus I skip it most of the times. And David, you think it's great, don't you?
I love me some breakfast. Yeah.
Is it your favorite meal of the day?
No. Well, there's things about it that, Charlotte, let's get into it. We might as well get into it.
Yeah, I guess we probably can't do this in 3 to 5 minutes anyway.
We can rattle off our points or something like that. Like we can have a back and forth.
All right, go. What do you love about breakfast?
I love that it is routine. Like it's something to get out of bed in the morning.
What a horrible, this is why I hate breakfast. What a horrible thing to say as breakfast is the best. It's so routine. Ugh. That's why I hate breakfast.
I was talking for about 5 seconds before I got interrupted.
Sorry. We shouldn't talk about things I'm passionate about. I just can't help it.
Well, no, we'll let you get passionate. Okay, so anyways, that was my soft point. Here comes the real stuff. I've got my breakfast. Charlotte, last week you mentioned that you just eat the same thing every day, and you don't understand why people can't do that. I have been eating the same breakfast for probably at least a couple years now. 2 pieces of toast with peanut butter on them, coffee, and fruit. And I mix the fruit up. Sometimes I eat like raspberries that I have in a thing of Tupperware. Sometimes I eat an apple. Sometimes I eat a banana. Sometimes I eat a peach. Sometimes I eat a nectarine. Sometimes I'm eating like clementines or something like that. So the fruit always kind of mixes it up. And I like it because the bread and peanut butter is hearty and it gives me protein and stuff. The coffee is delicious and it wakes me up. And the fruit is just kind of a nice little thing there. It's a little sort of gloss on top of like the heavy breakfast. And the same thing every day. It's very comforting. I sit down, I read some emails, you know what I mean? I go on the internet and I just kind of sit there and I wake up to the day with breakfast. And if if I'd gone out the night before, I got some buddies at the house or something like that, or if the lady friend is over or something like that, we go out to breakfast. We go get some nice breakfast, maybe some pancakes, some French toast, something like that. It's a beautiful thing. Breakfast. You know what, though? I will say one thing about breakfast. I never, ever, and it's not like I even have anything against it. I just don't do it. I just don't I don't drink orange juice for breakfast because I feel that it's too much. Maybe it's because I eat fruit for breakfast. This feels like the lamest rant of all time. Maybe it's because I eat fruit for breakfast, but I just feel orange juice is too strong of a flavor for breakfast, and I love drinking orange juice at night. It is a thing that I do. I drink orange juice at night.
With a cocktail, like with vodka in it, or
No,
just straight up orange juice?
Just orange juice. I just drink orange juice at night. It's great. You should try it sometime. So that is my case for breakfast. It's not even a case. I don't care if you like breakfast or not. All right, go.
Well,
Charlotte.
I don't like breakfast, David.
All right.
Here's why.
Yeah.
For all the reasons that you just said. Okay, and yes, last week I said how I eat the same thing, but I have not historically been like that, and frankly, it's because I'm too busy. However,
yeah,
and you know why? I eat the same thing because I don't have time during the day, and it kind of makes me sad. So then if I just eat the same thing and it's satisfying, then it's like a little bit okay, because then I get to save my extravagant meals for like if I'm sad. By the way, can we pause for 1 second? Did you see that commercial? I think it's a Weight Watchers commercial, but it starts off like, I think they sing the "If You're Happy and You Know It" song, but I could be wrong. But then it's talking to eat your feelings. Like if you're happy, eat your feelings. If you're sad, eat your feelings. If you're angry, eat your feelings. And at first I thought it was going to be a food commercial. I was like, yeah, I do all of those things. I eat my feelings all the time. And then it was like Weight Watchers at the end. I was like, oh, I see.
No, I haven't seen it. Can I go off on a little side rant before you finish breakfast? So my response to that was going to be something that I used to hate to hear, but I feel like it's died down. Remember like a year, 2, 3, 4 ago, whenever you said, have you seen this? People would say, oh, I don't watch TV. That was just the thing to say. Now, I was going to say I haven't seen that commercial because I don't watch, quote, TV, unquote. What I do watch are TV shows. I just don't have cable because I watch all my TV on the internet like a regular person. So I just wanted to say, I would have said I don't watch TV, and I would have immediately followed up with I watch Netflix, whatever. I just don't have like cable or whatever. But I'm also kind of happy.
He doesn't watch TV. He pronounces it etc.
Charlotte, are you not hearing me right now? Are you not hearing me rail against I don't watch TV? And they would always follow it up with, I just don't really have time to watch TV. You probably have time to watch TV. I just don't. I'm just busier than you are. I don't watch TV like you do. Of course, I internalize a lot of the things that people say to me. But let's be honest, that's what you're saying when you say you don't watch TV. But I hear that a lot less these days, which is wonderful. Thank you, world.
Yeah, probably because no one's watching TV. Everyone's just watching Netflix or stuff on the internet.
They've all finally accepted themselves. Good job, everybody.
I don't even know where I saw this commercial because I legit don't have cable. But I saw it at some point. Maybe I saw it because I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and on my tablet I don't have that app that blocks the ads. So anyway, whatever.
I don't have that either.
Okay.
Apparently that's a thing lots of people have. So there's an ad comes up, like, oh, why don't you have ad blocker? I don't know. Maybe I should have ad blocker.
It's working right now.
Yeah. Okay.
It told me it blocked 163 ads from this Africam website.
Wow. Okay, I'm getting ad blocker. Charlotte, you had a breakfast rant to finish. Actually, you hadn't really started it. You were just saying you eat the same thing every day.
Here's the thing is that because if I am going to eat food, I'm going to eat food, Like, my general day is to sustain because I just don't have time. But if I have time and I'm thinking about it, no chance am I going to make an egg. I am going to have something amazing. I'm going to have, like, a burger and fries or pizza. I'm gonna have if it's gonna be a salad, heaven forbid it's a salad, it's gonna have bacon in it and chicken and some kind of delicious cheese and even pizza. I'm not getting a pepperoni pizza. There's gonna be chicken and red onions and green peppers and hopefully some jalapenos on that bad boy. Maybe even some extra cheese because I love cheese. I feel like every delicious food in the world is a dinner time food. The only thing I will grant you, this is the only thing I'll give you for, wow, there's like a mansion in one of these videos.
Yeah, I know. I was just kind of, what's going on?
You really think that you're out in the middle of nowhere, and then you turn around and there's like a mansion back here.
Mm-hmm. Gazebo. It's a wonderful looking gazebo.
What the hell? It's huge. Anyways, I'll give you brunch. Brunch is good because brunch you're usually hungover. You just want something greasy. But that's the thing. I like brunch because then you get into breakfast burgers. You get into hash browns or even French fries. Lots of time at brunch you can just sub in your French fries straight up for your hash browns. It's not just straight up eggs and toast. Oh God, toast. Toast is the worst food on this whole planet.
Oh,
I hate
God.
Toast.
Oh,
it
man.
it hurts the roof of it cuts up the roof of my mouth. It's a vessel for other things. Like, what is wrong with you? Be your own thing, Toast. You take everything that's great about bread, soft, chewy, and you take it all away. Screw you, Toast.
This is great. Like we just feel so very differently about it.
Yeah, honestly, like, I just don't understand. And one of my friends once told me that sometimes her and her boyfriend will eat eggs for dinner. And that honestly makes me so sad. That breaks my heart.
That's crazy.
Please stop.
Yeah, I don't.
Please stop.
Yeah.
It hurts me. It hurts me to think about that.
But I think the same thing about people who drink orange juice for breakfast. Okay, so I think so good discussion. Dave's right, Charlotte's wrong about breakfast, and we can move on.
Mm-hmm. People, stop eating breakfast for dinner. That's ridiculous. If anything, you should be eating your dinner for breakfast. Hamburger for dinner? That's amazing. That's what you should be doing.
Hamburger for
especially
breakfast, you mean?
If it's a cold burger left in the fridge, like after we have burgers at mom and dad's house, cold burger, I mean, I would just crush that.
Yeah, that's good times. Yeah,
Yeah,
breakfast
super good
for
times.
dinner. Yeah, that's weird. Don't do that.
Get your life together if that's
Yeah.
what you're doing.
You should really
It's not okay.
rethink your life if that's something that you're
Yeah.
doing or thinking of doing.
We need to follow up on something from last week. The word of the day was a phrase of the day. It was jump the shark.
Jump the shark. Charlotte, did I fill you in on like the etymology is going a bit far, but why jump the shark is called jump the shark?
No, but they told me that at New Year's when we came up with this.
Right. So for our listeners who don't know, I'll just tell you real quick. I thought it was cool when I think it was Dean who told me about it. And it's from an episode of Happy Days. I'm sure all of our listeners have watched Happy Days, where they like it was at a point in one of the later seasons where they literally the fawns jumped over a shark on like a sea-doo from a ramp or something like that, and that marked the point to a lot of people where the show had gone overboard. Like it was just crazy town. It wasn't the original goodness that people liked in the first place about Happy Days. So the phrase jump the shark has after that been used to refer to shows when they go overboard, when they have any number of things, too much money for their own good, and they get away from like the heart of the show and all these really critiquey, arty arguments, right? But yeah, so jump the shark literally like references something that actually happened in a Happy Days episode where a guy jumped over a shark, and yeah, I'm sure there's probably a word for that, right? That I don't
Jump the shark is probably the word.
Jump the shark is the word for it. And did we use it last week?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I think when we went into inane questions, our new game.
Right. Good for us.
I said we were going to jump the shark. So it's a somewhat sarcastic usage of the word, but I think that's the best way to use it.
Speaking of words, terms, things, Charlotte, you've got one for me here. I've done some research on it, so I want you to,
Oh, my question?
Yeah.
Okay. Here is something. I read. I'm on BuzzFeed a lot, as I've alluded to in a previous podcast.
Yeah.
And I sometimes see news. News.
You're
Twitter,
not blind.
mostly.
You're on the internet. You read news.
I hear things.
Yeah.
And, a lot of the times I feel old. Sometimes I'm going on Google and figuring out what SMH stands for, which I never remember. Is it shake my head? I don't think so.
I think it's
Is it? Maybe it is shake my head.
No, I think it's smack my head. Like when you're frustrated and you like your hand kind of falls into your hand Your head
Nothing
kind of
makes
falls
you
in your head.
feel older than having to Google like the slang and the
Right.
abbreviations of the younger generation. That sucks.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And some of the stuff I just can't get on board with, like B, is that how, or Bae? BAE? How they, oh my God.
yeah,
Honestly, I just can't even with you people right now. So
Maybe
this
if
I
it
feel
was
like,
maybe if it was a better song, Pharrell Williams. Thanks.
yeah, oh, that's a good song though. I like
It's-
that song.
it's
Come
a
get
good-
it, babe.
It's a good beat, but I feel like it's kind of lacking in like it's just not as good as Blurred Lines was. Is that an inappropriate bar to hold it to?
No, of course. No, I mean, Blurred Lines was amazing.
Yeah.
I know everyone got sick of it, including me, but that was a great song.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, sorry, rant over. Not even a rant. Yeah, whatever.
So this I classify in the same thing, but I don't think that's legit because I think this is a legit business, but I still don't understand because, okay,
Are we talking about
Uber.
Bay still? Oh,
no,
sorry.
we're talking about Uber.
Uber.
What on God's green earth is Uber? And can I first, if I were to define it, can I first tell you how I would define it?
Yes.
Here's my understanding. Maybe this is right, and I just don't understand why it's a thing. Uber is a taxi company, but instead of legit taxis, it's just Joe Blow who has a car can just drive his car and pick people up who have this app. Like, I could become an Uber driver.
Oh,
That's my
right.
understanding.
Yeah, that's that thing. Yeah.
So, wait, isn't this what you said you looked up, what Uber was?
No. I looked up
Oh,
what,
no.
I looked up what Uber was, but that sort of use of it completely just flew right by me.
Wait, what is Uber? What'd
Well-
you look up?
Well, Uber is like when people say, "Oh, that's uber cool," or "Man, I'm uber tired." But I mean, it's pretty old. People don't really say that anymore, and so I think it kind of came back in like the early 2000s. Okay, so I both Urban Dictionary'd it and Merriam-Webster'd it. So on Urban Dictionary, it said, what did it say? Something about. So there was a definition posted in 2004. So I would assume that's because a lot of people were using it in 2002, 2003. And as Urban Dictionary does, they kind of got on it and someone posted like a definition, right? But then I thought I remembered someone in like a sitcom or something making a
Wait,
joke.
are you just talking about like someone saying Uber as in very?
Yeah.
I know, but that hasn't.
Is that not what we're talking about? You're just talking about
No,
the car thing.
like what is it? What is it?
The car thing.
This is so disappointing. I was so excited that I thought you could explain it to me, and I still have no idea.
Okay, well, I just want to go back on my research because I was excited because I thought I'd been around forever. So anyways, it was used by the dead Kennedys in the 80s, and so it was popular for a while, and then it fell out, and then people started saying it again, and now everyone's sick of it again. No one says Uber. So let's move on to the car thing because that's much more relevant. Sorry for...
Well, so what does Uber even mean? Will that maybe give us some insight into this car situation or what?
I doubt it. But so Charlotte, I'm where you are. All I know is what you know. I don't know why it upsets you. Like, it seems...
It's driving me crazy.
But like...
Crazy.
It seems like a
What
good...
is it?
Well, it
What
seems like
is
a good...
it?
Like, if you have an app, like, cars, like, just come to you. But don't they have to be,
You
like,
know
registered
what? We
Uber
already
cars?
have that. They're called taxis. I do not understand. Why is there a market for this? Why is this a big thing? I don't understand. Do you want that? Do you want just some guy named Brad showing up at your door in his like 2002 Ford Escape? Like, no, I want it to say taxi company on the side of the car. I want there to be some sort of professional light thing on top so that I know. Unless I'm misunderstanding Uber completely, which I feel like it must be because I feel like Uber is crazy.
Don't they have
I
to be, like,
don't
registered
understand.
Uber cars? Or do you just throw, like, a U on the front, like you're driving, like, a
I
Hyundai
don't
or a
know.
Hyundai or something?
And if you watch videos or hear people talk about this, and I think it's big in like California, they'll say, I called an Uber. I
Right.
fell into an Uber instead of cab. Like they're using Uber. Like it's gotta be big. People are like, it's not even like you called an Uber. Like that's interesting or exciting. It's like they just use it like cab. And like, why are there no cabs anymore? Like what, are the cab companies just like dying? Does somebody know the answer? Will you please save us and tell me what an Uber? Maybe we need an American on this podcast to tell us, because I think this is an American thing.
First Google search of Uber turned up apply to drive with Uber, so at least they're applying to drive with it.
Oh, that's good.
Although this harkens back to Jerry Seinfeld's immortal bit. Like, I don't even know what it takes to become a cab driver in New York City. I think all you need is a face. So maybe they just need a face and they can become an Uber driver. I don't know. It seems cool, but that's kind of me being devil's advocate. So I apologize. I'm with you, Charlotte. Like, I just think we have cabs. You call them, you go out on the street and you hail them down. Sort of thing.
What was wrong with that system?
What was wrong with
You know what I mean? Like,
I know what you're
why?
saying.
I don't understand why that, and not only why this is another thing, like why this has become, like, I think overshadowing cabs.
I think it's because they have like an app, and it's just easy for people to open their phones, and because people like you, Charlotte, who don't want to talk on the phone to people and leave voicemails like a regular person anymore, would rather.
It's not that I don't want to talk on the phone. I just hate voicemails.
Which is
it's because of, oh my God.
Voicemails are wonderful. They're magical. There's someone leaving a little piece of themselves on your phone.
Nothing is wonderful about a voicemail. Is it the 5 minutes it takes to log in to check your voicemail while you listen to that girl go, "You have 2 new messages. To listen to your messages, press 1-1.
By the time she says you
message.
hit 1.
You God.
Interrupt her and she starts.
Can they not get a faster talking lady on this thing? Like, well, I get it. I know how many, can we just hurry this thing along?
There's those voicemails.
You know my inbox gets full after 3 messages?
Because you don't you delete them after you listen to them?
3!
Well, you got a crappy phone then. Lord.
Maybe. But they're not actually stored on my phone, are they? Like, aren't these just out in cyberspace?
Out in the cloud?
In the world?
I don't know. That's a good question.
No, not the cloud. I don't have an app. By the way, I just saw today one of these people who's like, you should really get an Apple or an iPhone. You'd love it. Should you really? They passed me their phone to text on it. Sure enough, the screen's cracked. All the shit.
Yeah.
So I just looked at it, down at it,
looked up at him. People having crack? Like, who's always? I get the same thing. Everyone with an iPhone has a cracked screen. Everybody.
Yes. Why are we buying these inferior products?
No,
I've had my BlackBerry for 4 years and I have dropped it 1 billion times.
Charlotte,
it is not cracked.
I've had an iPhone for like 5 years. I've dropped it 1 million times. It's never cracked. It's just people.
You've had the same iPhone for 5 years?
No, I had one for a couple
of
years. No, why are you like this? No.
Because I hate Apple.
Yeah.
I hate them. I feel like I hate everything today. Why am I always on the con side today?
It's because I had tea earlier and you drank coffee, and that makes me better than you.
Right, that's true.
We were just talking about. I'm kidding, by the way. Charlotte, I sent Charlotte the picture for this week's podcast, and I was drinking from a cup. She was like, "Hey, that looks cool. I'm going to do that." And then she said I was drinking coffee. I said I'm drinking tea because I never used to drink tea, and now I drink tea, and I feel like tea is one of those things where you're like, hey, let's go have a coffee with someone. They'll be like, oh, I'll have a tea. I'll have like a herbal tea or something like that. I can't do coffee.
And it's just not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah. I do like coffee, by the way.
Jerry Seinfeld talking to Larry David about going out for coffee on comedians in cars getting coffee.
Absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Except now I can't remember the 2 things he compares.
It was
you go out for ice cream and someone gets a salad. Is that it?
That was Jerry's comparison. Larry's thing was his ex-wife was upset that they couldn't even drink coffee together anymore.
Oh yeah, because
Larry was drinking
coffee.
Herbal tea.
Yeah.
It was like it's hot. It's in a mug. What's the problem? And Jerry said, it's like you going out for ice cream and you get a salad.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Which I think the same.
Which I think was a good answer, Jerry. But I also love Larry David, so if it's all right with Larry, it's all right with me.
He's pretty
good. I think it's time to say goodnight. Say goodbye.
Yeah. I think it is. I think we're both caffeinated and we're just going to keep on ranting about the world. Hey, if you know what the hell Uber is, please email us and put us out of our misery, and also explain why it's a thing. Why? Help.
And if you're cool and young and hip, we don't want to hear from you.
No, tell us what Uber is, and then we don't want to hear from you after that.
Yeah, go wear some glow sticks and listen to stuff that we
and
hate.
put SMH in all of your texts.
Great
Whatever
Canadian,
the hell that means.
GreatCanadianPod@gmail.com. It's going to be the info. Young people, don't be scared. I'm still technically young. I like things.
Yeah. Send us your TOP picks, guys. We'll put them on the pod every week, and we'll put together quite the playlist, I think. We've already got a pretty good playlist on the go here.
Yeah. All right, so top songs, Tower of Power songs of the day, and what Uber is. These are the Great Canadian questions of the Great Canadian Day. GreatCanadianPod@gmail.com.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
We'll see you next time.
It's the Great Canadian Podcast with Dave and Charlotte.